Hey, today it's gonna be a different video. Let me say it's gonna be an interesting one because we're gonna be interviewing Sabbatical because we wanna know how he does it all, like traveling around the world, going in different places. Today is the day that we're gonna be interviewing him and know more about him, what inspires him to travel, stuff like that. So let's go and start the interview. Okay, question number one. How many countries have you been to and how many countries do you want to go to?
I'm actually not even sure how many countries I've been to,
Yeah.
to be honest. I think it's something like 40. And that's, even though I travel all the time, I don't have like this huge country number. You know, I'm not like certain vloggers that have been to like 100 plus countries or whatever. And even though I would eventually like to visit every single country in the world, I prefer to take my time doing that, because I think if you don't spend, at least a decent amount of time in a country to understand their language, their culture, getting to know them, like if you just drop into a country for like a day, or even worse, you just fly into their airport and then leave, that doesn't count as visiting a country, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. I remember when I made a stopover in Singapore. Then I told my friends that I've been to Singapore, and they were like, "No, you've not. You just did a layover, so that doesn't count."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nah, even though they have a really nice airport,
Yeah.
and like if you were going to count one country by going through the airport, it might be Singapore, because you could actually like live there for a couple of days. They got like a pool.
Yeah.
I think it was closed during the pandemic, but
yeah. So another question: which country do you feel at home? Like, you've traveled a lot of countries, so which country do you feel at home in?
that's easy. Obviously Uganda. I just dream about eating matoke every day. And what else do they eat in Uganda? I forgot. what are the other things? Insane.
Grasshoppers.
Yeah, insane. What's that other food you got? Was it called matako or something like that?
What? Matako is not food, Jesus. Then let me say, yeah, we have a lot of different foods, and I think they're nice. So if you say that you feel home in Uganda, that's.
But on a serious note, I really do feel home in Uganda. I like Uganda a lot.
Yes.
But I want to add on to that by saying, I think I could feel at home almost anywhere. Because home is what you make of it. It's like, as long as you're open-minded and you can adapt and you're willing to try new things and the food isn't that bad, you can feel at home there.
Yeah.
Just try to be a little social, make some new friends, be open to new experiences, and
Then that will be your home.
Pretty much, yeah. Could be Brazil.
Yeah, could be South Sudan.
Could be North Korea,
Yeah, could be anywhere.
I'd get indoctrinated for sure. That's a good couple of questions.
We had to get out of the house a little bit. But let's go back to our main point. The third question: what do you like and dislike about your travels?
What do I like and dislike?
Yeah.
And I'll take the camera.
Okay.
I know how to hold the camera. I'm a little bit used to it. I could say a lot about this, to be honest. But what I like, that part is easy. What I like is that I get to do what I love, which is traveling around, seeing new countries, trying new foods, meeting interesting people, learning new languages. I would pay to do all this stuff, and somehow now I get to do it and earn money from it, which is amazing. It's like a fantasy. Boom, check out that scenery. Pretty nice, huh? Could have done this whole video stuck in an apartment with just like this boring white wall as the background. But no, that's the dedication we have. We move around, we find interesting places to record, even when doing a Q&A video. Hope you appreciate that. What was I talking about? What was the question?
The question was, what do you like and dislike about your travels?
Yeah, so I already told you what I like. What I dislike about making travel videos on YouTube. All right, sit down, because it's going to take a few minutes to explain. You can sit like, that's pretty cool. Look at all that. Bali.
Super nice. And the sunset.
Yeah. This is not my camera, so I don't know how good the video quality is, but maybe you can make out the mountain over there. That is Kenya. What's the border with Kenya? Mount Elgon. Pretty wild. All right, so anyway, talking about travel videos on YouTube. Josey, what do you dislike about making videos on YouTube?
I dislike the fact that you put in a lot of effort in a video, and kaboom, like you get disappointed, like people don't watch it. So that's what I dislike about YouTube, to be honest.
Yeah, that could be tough. Sometimes you do a video that's really super interesting to you personally, and unfortunately it's not interesting to the wider public.
Yeah.
It doesn't get a high click-through rate and everything. But on a broader scale, what I've been noticing recently, especially I think if you're like a male travel vlogger, but I think everybody's affected by this. Like, it seems like the trend on YouTube is going towards, like, people just want to see guys doing dangerous stuff, going to dangerous neighborhoods, going to dangerous countries, I don't know, walking into crack houses in Argentina, you know. And like, while that's, I guess, interesting once in a while, I wouldn't want to make my whole channel about that. That gets a little bit tiring, you know. And unfortunately, those are kind of like the market forces of YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And we've like slowly worked up to this point now where it used to be you could just make like innocent videos walking around, talking to people in the countryside, showing the beauty of humanity. But I guess now, because you have like you have certain vloggers, I'm not going to name names, but you can probably think of who I'm talking about. Like, some of them, every video they make is about going to a dangerous country, doing something dangerous every single time. And other vloggers, every single video is about talking to women, putting a woman in the thumbnail. And I call this like the crack and the heroin of travel vlogs, you know? Putting a woman in your thumbnail, that's like crack. You'll get addicted to it because you'll get more views. Guys like to see women. I mean, I can't argue with that, you know? Like, sometimes I'm guilty of that too, but... And then dangerous videos are like the heroin, you know? You'll get more views for that also, but you might lose your life eventually if you want to go down that route.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, and it's like everybody is doing this now, you know?
Dangerous videos, putting women in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Actually, I've done that.
Yeah.
Like,
well, for you, it's pretty easy. You just put yourself. Like,
Yeah.
That's. I wish I could just put myself in the thumbnail and get instant views. I should be able to. I'm a very attractive man, am I not? Pretty sure you could.
I don't think so. It's a huge trench.
I mean, we're in the region of the best runners, long distance runners in the world. In the spirit of that, pretty sure they have some good long jumpers still. In the spirit of that, and hopefully I don't break my leg here. Take a look at this. This is a really easy way to sprain your ankle, but take this.
Okay, let's see what you got.
It's like, I know I could do it, but I just don't want to land awkwardly.
Jesus!
Yeah.
Whoa!
It's the white boy that's got jumps around here.
That was a great landing.
So we're talking about travel vlogging on YouTube. And if you're an aspiring travel vlogger on YouTube, I got some bad news for you. I don't think this is a very good time to start. Would you agree with that, Josey?
Tell them the bad news.
You know, unless you have like a very, very original idea that I can't think of, it's like starting like a few years ago, you kind of had like this, I'll call it the action cam revolution. You had a few vloggers that started just taking like a GoPro or a similar camera, walking around talking to people, and shockingly, people actually like watching that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember the travel videos back in like 2014, 2015? No, neither do I, because I never watched them. Because the videos back then were all just like a bunch of attractive white people going to beaches, going to like beach resorts in the Philippines or something. And that was never that interesting to me. That's not how I travel. And I think the majority of people thought the same way.
Yeah.
But finally, a few years ago, we finally figured out that the real thing that's important about traveling is connecting with people. You know, having genuine conversations, friendships, the trials and tribulations, you know, all that stuff. And thankfully, YouTube has changed in that direction. But now, I feel like almost everybody's trying to make videos like this now. It's getting like a little more saturated in that sense. So it's harder to stand out. Would you agree, Josey?
I do.
Yeah.
Because if you go to most YouTube channels of different people, if you watch a lot of YouTube and you've seen a lot of YouTubers, you'd find that we are all like making the same thing, something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there is a higher competition, and that I think affects these new YouTubers that are starting. And of course, I know some have the same idea because they watch those videos, so they come up with that idea that maybe me too, I should copy how this one is doing his or her videos. So that affects everything.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's like the you know, the big channels, the ones that already have 1 million subscribers, whatever, they're fine. They're still gonna get views and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think
for these ones who are starting,
yeah. So in conclusion, because this video is actually a commentary on travel vlogging on YouTube, disguised as a Q&A video. In conclusion, if you're an aspiring travel vlogger, I know it looks easy, I know it looks fun. You might want to think long and hard about that, unless you have like a really good idea.
which is totally different from other YouTube channels.
Yeah. If you're ready to go into war zones and crack houses all the time, you might have an option. If you're you could also go to India, apparently, or Indonesia, or the Philippines. God bless them. You know, they seem to just watch anything. I gotta go over there myself. Not for the subscribers, but I still haven't been to India, and I love Indian food, so. But yeah, anyway, think long and hard about it. It's still possible to become a travel vlogger on YouTube, but it's becoming, I don't know, less and less fun.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Because everyone now is interested in YouTube. Like, there are a lot of new YouTubers who are coming, and I've been getting people coming asking me, Miss Josey, can you give us advice and stuff like that. I think you should watch this video is yours.
Yeah.
This video is
Watch
yours.
this. Repeat it. Watch it over and over again. Dream about it.
The fourth question. What has been your biggest adventure so far?
Yeah, that's a genuinely hard question. Because I've had quite a few. You've been on a few of them also. There was that time when we went to Makoko and Lagos.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that bad, but then we went into that bar which was
that made it to be the biggest
that might have been the most nightmarish place I've ever seen in my life. It was a place with women that sell services, and then they also tried to like shake us down for money. Somehow we got out of there only giving them $6, I think.
Yeah.
That was rough. What else have I done? I recently hiked up a mountain in Morocco.
Wow.
Walked into like a cannabis field. Really good video. Then YouTube demonetized it. Went to a crack house in Argentina. Strangely, they didn't demonetize that one. But yeah, you know, I feel like, you know, if you want to go on an adventure yourself, you can go on an adventure even in your own country, in your own neighborhood, whatever. Because adventure is just a state of mind, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, adventure is basically just pushing your boundaries a little bit. Doing something out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Right? Because normally we all just wake up and we go to our boring 9-to-5 jobs and we just think about getting home, drinking and watching Netflix, or whatever the Ugandan equivalent is. Probably the same thing, actually.
Yeah.
Drinking waraji. And yeah, so
drinking mukomboti.
You know, like, you don't have to be rich or anything, or and you don't have to be crazy either.
Yeah.
Just you
can just be yourself, do your thing.
I guarantee you could drive probably an hour or 2 hours away from where you live, and you could find something interesting.
Yeah.
Just talk to people, go hiking. You know, it's all up to you.
Yeah.
You only have one life
to live,
depending on which religion you follow, and you got to make the most of it.
Have fun, guys. Have fun as much as possible.
Yeah.
Travel, go for adventures, get out of your comfort zone. Like, just go and do stuff, because as you said, we have only one life, only like this. So it's up to you. You decide.
Josey, what was your biggest adventure?
Okay, my biggest adventure was in Laos. And I like the fact that Laos is a country whereby you can go anywhere. I really enjoyed Laos. Actually, that is one of my best countries in Asia. I love Laos. So if you're from Laos, I love your country.
Yeah.
Last question of the day that we have for Sabbatical is, what are some of the lessons that travel has taught you?
Some of the lessons.
You can give us 3.
Well, I don't know if these are lessons, but traveling has definitely changed me, like, in many ways, and most of them positive, I would say. And again, I think that also comes down to mindset, because you could go traveling and you could run into like problems and whatnot, and you could go back home with the conclusion that everyone is just like a scammer or an asshole outside of your home country. But for me, it hasn't been like that, you know? I travel around, I try to understand, and the more time that I spend in these places, you know, the more that I feel I have a deeper understanding of them, you know? I remember when I first arrived in Africa, in Tanzania, a very striking thing for us Mzungus, but I mean even for you too, Miss Josey, is like people just asking for money all the time, you know? They're just always asking. And, you know, like when I first arrived, I was just like, you know, stop asking me. Like, why don't you go make your own money and everything? As time has passed, I've started to become a little more sympathetic, because I think about, do they have enough job opportunities here? Do they have enough access to money? Maybe as a family, you know, I can't help but trying to put myself into their shoes and whatnot. So I think traveling has made me, I guess, into a more empathetic person, I'd like to think. And also, I mean, for me personally, because one of the biggest joys and motivators for me for traveling is to learn different languages. I know that sounds like the nerdiest thing ever, but it's a lot of fun. And I think if you just sit in your room at home learning languages, yeah, that's a little bit nerdy, but if you're learning a language to go and talk with people, it's a whole different story, right? I've had conversations and made friendships that I never would have made without doing that. You've probably seen that in some of my videos. But it's a really beautiful thing. And the last thing is making these videos, traveling around. It's brought me into contact with a lot of people I never would have talked with otherwise, you know?
Like me.
But like, no, like in terms of just going in the countryside, talking to farmers, just, you know, like I'm from New York. When am I going to talk to farmers or, you know, like people working in the military, like all these random professions, people like Maria living up there in the hills of Uganda. And you learn about their lives, you learn more about people that are very different from you. And it just makes you a much more well-rounded person, I would say.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, so I think this is it for today. And hope you've learned something from Sabbatical's interview. It was a short one, a simple one, but at least you've learned something. And yeah, hope we shall be seeing you in our next videos. So big up, guys. Enjoy yourself because we have one life.
Yeah.
Bye. See you.
One love.